It's been 1 year since the death of a toddler who was critically injured following an incident at a local private day home. Macenzy Woolfsmith, 21 months, died the day after suffering serious injuries at the day home in the 0 to 100 block of Elgin Heath Southeast on May 2nd, 2012. Due to the nature of her injuries, the investigation was taken over by the CPS Major Crimes Section. Based on new medical evidence and the lack of cooperation from the individual with exclusive opportunity to Macenzy, this investigation is now a Homicide Unit investigation. Due to the nature of her injuries, the investigation was taken over by the CPS Major Crimes Section. Based on new medical evidence and the lack of cooperation from the individual with exclusive opportunity to Macenzy, this is now a Homicide Unit investigation. We have serious concerns following the medical findings and the suspicious circumstances around Macenzy's death. Detectives are currently re-interviewing witnesses and neighbors as part of the Homicide Unit investigation. We continue to ask for anyone with information about this case to contact the Calgary Police Service or Crime Stoppers. I will now take your questions.
Could you just elaborate on what your suspicions are?
The new medical evidence that we have is that the victim suffered multiple blunt force trauma injuries that resulted in her death. The Homicide Unit is now treating this as a suspicious death investigation, and that the injuries are inconsistent with what we were told during the early stages of this investigation.
This person that you're saying had the exclusive opportunity, I mean, is this the day home operator?
This person is the only adult that was in the home at the time the injuries were suffered, that she is considered a person of interest in our investigation. She was cooperative during the initial stages of the investigation, but she is now uncooperative.
So no charges yet, are they pending?
We have no charges yet. We have a lot of investigation to do before we can get to the stage where we can lay charges.
Has the medical examiner ruled on what kind of death this was?
The medical examiner has provided us a cause of death, multiple blunt force trauma. We've also consulted with a number of medical experts outside of the medical examiner's office. These are experts that have expertise in child death investigations, and we're all on the same page as far as the cause of death, multiple blunt force trauma.
So does that mean, can we elaborate, is that accidental, homicide, what?
We have the cause of death, and we're treating it as a suspicious death. So at this point, that is only one piece of the puzzle, the medical information. We still have our investigation to conduct before we can determine manner of death.
Sorry, I'm just confused because a year ago I think it was blunt force trauma, right? So what is the new evidence?
Multiple blunt force trauma, significant multiple blunt force trauma injuries that are inconsistent with what we were told during the initial stages of the investigation.
So are you saying a year ago it was possible that it was accidental blunt force trauma and now it appears it's not an accident?
The information that we have is that the cause of death is inconsistent with a short or accidental fall down a set of stairs.
I guess maybe the question, is maybe the timeline as far as what was happening a year ago and what's happening, what the difference is between a year ago and today.
So as a result of consulting these experts outside of the medical examiner's office, everyone is on the same page that the victim suffered multiple blunt force trauma injuries that are inconsistent with a short or accidental fall down a flight of stairs.
This isn't the first time that a child's death has been somewhat mischaracterized by our own medical examiner's office, and additional experts have found something that's inconsistent. Is there a concern with the medical examiner's office initial findings?
I can tell you that the medical examiner's office has been on the same page throughout the investigation. We've worked very closely with them, and we just confirmed some information in regards to the cause of death with these child death investigators, people who have expertise in child death investigations. So the medical examiner has been a key piece of this investigation from the initial stages and have remained as such throughout the investigation.
But Mark found it was an accident, and their other experts found that it's not an accident. That's
We've never considered it or classified it as an accidental death. We've continued with the investigation to determine the cause of death. And at this point, we're saying that the victim suffered multiple blunt force trauma injuries, and that is the cause of death.
Is the day home still in operation?
Pardon?
Is the day home still in operation?
No, it is not.
How did Macenzy's parents react to this news?
Macenzy's parents just want the truth, and they're very supportive of the police investigation.
Are you able to say at all what the story was initially from the dayhome operator as to what happened?
Because this is an ongoing investigation, I can't provide you with that information at this time. But what I can tell you is that the cause of death is inconsistent with the information that was provided to us during the initial stages of the investigation.
I understand the Child Abuse Unit did a separate investigation before the incident with Macenzy Woolfsmith on another child that was injured at that same day home. Do you know what about that?
What I can tell you is that we have spoken to other parents who had children in the day home, that they have provided us with information that has assisted us in moving this investigation forward. But because this investigation is ongoing, I can't provide you with that information at this time.
You say how many sets of parents?
We have spoken with a number of parents who had children in the day home at the time of the investigation.
Was Macenzy the only child in the home at the time?
No, she was not.
So was the day home operator's child was there as well? And were there other?
There were other children in the day home at the time, along with the adult. And we can tell you that the injuries are inconsistent with those injuries that would be the result of an interaction with another child.
Were any other children injured?
No, there were not.
When you say
Detective, given the
multiple,
fact that you're not getting a lot of cooperation from your suspect, where's your investigation go at this point?
We'll continue with our investigation. Right now, we're going to revisit the individuals that we interviewed during the initial stages of the investigation to see if anything has been missed. And we're also appealing to the public for any information.
when you say the multiple incidents, was that historical or?
What I can tell you is that we have spoken to a number of parents who had children in the day home, and that they have provided us with information that's assisted us in moving this investigation forward.
I'm not sure I know what you mean by that. I don't know.
We have spoken to other parents, and they have provided us with information. As to the specifics of that information, because this is an ongoing investigation, I can't provide you with that information at this time.
Did it come from their kids?
Pardon?
Did that information come from their kids?
Again, because this is an ongoing investigation, I can't provide you with the information at this time.
Was the day home voluntarily closed by the operator, or did you guys have some influence on that?
I believe it was voluntarily closed.
It's good.
Okay.
Question. When was it voluntarily closed? I just missed the beginning, sorry.
It hasn't been operating since this incident, as far as my understanding.
Okay.